What's up? In this video, I'm going to talk about how to procrastinate the right way. But first, before we understand the right way, let's first understand the wrong way and how it's negatively affecting us. So we all procrastinate. We all do it perhaps daily. Some do it more than others. And there's no one you've ever met who has not procrastinated. So let's give a typical example of what procrastination looks like. There's something that needs to get done. Let's say it's studying or doing homework. And instead of doing that task, studying right there in the moment, starting your homework, you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to relax a bit. I'm going to watch an episode of Netflix. I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to go on TikTok and only do 5 swipes on TikTok. But before you know it, you're doing 10 swipes. You lost count and you're on TikTok for hours. When I first downloaded TikTok, I actually downloaded at like 11 p.m. one night during lockdown. And before I knew it, it was 5 a.m. And I was in shock that I did something like that. I was in shock. I was on TikTok, and before I know it, the sun's rising. Or YouTube. I mean, YouTube, all social media is meant to keep you on the platform as much as possible. If you haven't watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, I highly recommend that because it shows you how these apps work and how they're basically training you to be addicted to the app. But anyway, on YouTube's so good with their suggested videos. You could be watching a video and then a suggested video is so similar or just enticing enough to where you can't help but click it, and it's long form content. And now you're sitting there for even longer than you would on watching one episode of Netflix or 2. But anyway, let's get back to the example of a typical example of procrastination. So you know there's work that needs to get done. And let's say for Netflix, 1 episode turns into 2, or 2 turns into 3, and before you know it, time is running out on getting that task done. Let's say homework was due at 11:59 p.m. Now you have to rush frantically to do your homework and turn in a half-assed piece of homework and get a bad grade on it, or you just tell yourself, look, I'm not going to do the homework today. I'll take a 0 on it and make sure to do all the next ones 100% full effort. Or when it comes to studying, you instead of having an hour or 2 to study, you only give yourself 30 minutes again, which is not high quality study time. Or you tell yourself, oh, I'll just study tomorrow, I'll go even longer tomorrow. But what this does and how this negatively affects you is, one, you are not showing to yourself that you can get results in the world. The way self-esteem is raised is your brain needs proof, not promises, that you can keep your word to yourself or you can get an action done. This is why manifestation or affirmations don't work. You can't tell yourself you're a great basketball player without having proof of that, right? You can't tell yourself you're a great singer without actual proof of that. It wouldn't be congruent. You would know you're lying to yourself. So if you can't keep your word to yourself and study and pass a grade and study and get a good grade on a test or pass your class, that's going to negatively affect your self-esteem. You're going to view yourself as a procrastinator, as someone who's lazy, as someone who may not be able to do anything they need to do to accomplish their goals. And when this starts to creep in, it starts to build. And before you know it, this shame and guilt you're just carrying with you, and you have to use more addictions now to basically numb yourself. You have to watch more YouTube or Netflix or TikTok. And this is the biggest negative consequence, I think, of procrastination. Think of you're in the pool with a beach ball. And this beach ball is that work that needs to get done and the guilt and shame around it. And when it comes up, you just want to press that beach ball down into the water, but that beach ball just keeps coming up and you keep pushing it down. Now let's say you procrastinate in many areas of your life. Now you have these beach balls everywhere and you're constantly just suppressing these feelings of shame and guilt to the point where you're never just in flow with life. You're constantly in your head judging yourself and feeling stressed out and almost angry at yourself, and you start lashing out at others really because you're mad at yourself. Anytime we lash out at someone, they typically triggered something within us. But anyway, when you have all these beach balls, you can never actually be 100% engaged in life. So I know I struggled with this when my first year in college, I actually flunked out. And I flunked out because instead of doing the work that needed to get done, I was actually first getting into self-improvement. So I was reading self-improvement books, and I was like, oh, after I finish this page or this chapter, I will do my homework. Or I would say, after I watch this one video, I'll do the homework. And sure enough, like the previous example, one video turns into 2, which turns into 3. And before you know it, I'm like, oh, I'll go to school early and do homework. That wouldn't happen. And I had such a low GPA my freshman year. It was like a point something. I didn't even get a 1 point something. I got a point something. Like an abysmal GPA to where it even affected me getting into masters. And I look back on it, I'm like, man, I really didn't get into a master's program with getting all A's and B's my last 2 years. So my last 2 years, I really focused down and defeated procrastination, which I'm going to tell you how to do that in a second. And I was able to get A's and B's while working full time. But those A's and B's still didn't counteract the damage that I did earlier in my life. I don't regret that because I now have the ingrained habits that allowed me to get A's and B's that are allowing me to make this video while I'm super tired. I'm going to get into that in a second. But still, it is a major highlight in my life, and it really forced me to look at myself and just really question where I was at in my life at that point. Like, what did it feel like to be in my body? Like, I had so many beach balls I was stuffing down. So there was one with school, and then even though I was reading these self-improvement books, I was still too nervous to go implement them. So I was stuffing that down, and I stuffed that down with more information. So I recently was looking at how did it feel to be in my body? How anxious was I? And what were habits were I doing? I would go to the gym a lot. My escape was going to the gym 6-7 days a week. And I would tell myself, oh, after I go to the gym, I'll study. And again, it wouldn't happen. So now you see what procrastination looks like, how it affects you. Let's get into the right way to procrastinate. So before we get into the right way, we have to understand some principles. First is the only thing that matters when it comes to beating procrastination is getting the work done. It doesn't matter when you do it or how you do it, it's getting the work done. The next thing is what is there that needs to be done. And this is where I think school has a positive quality, and that quality is deadlines and due dates. So the fact that you have homework due at a specific time, and if you don't get it done, you could possibly fail the class. And that's a heavy weight to fail a class, right? There's so much stress about failing a class or even failing a test that it forces you to take action. And imagine if you failed a class and now you wasted your money or your parents' money. So there's even pressure from your parents and even maybe yourself to get a good grade and pass the class because they invested in you or you invested yourself financially. Money talks. So there's an exercise that's popular in self-improvement where you give someone $100, and the only way you can get that $100 back is if you take specific actions that you need to take to accomplish your goal. So let's say it's getting leaner. If you stick to your diet every day for a week, you get that $100 back. So now you can ask yourself one little quick tip on how to beat procrastination. How can you leverage pressure? If you look at your life situation right now, how can you leverage pressure in all areas of your life? So for me, this is my 3rd of 9 days of working in a row. So I still have 6 more days to go, all 8-hour shifts, all super early in the morning. And I'm super tired. I've still been going to the gym and I've still been making videos. But today I was so tired. And when I was at work, all I can think about was coming home and watching the NBA All-Star event. So today, this only happens one day a year, where the NBA has a 3-point shootout, the dunk contest, and a skills challenge. This only happens one day a year. So I was like, man, I really want to watch this, so I may not make videos. but then I started feeling guilty because I was clear on what work I needed to get done. And while I was at work the last couple hours, I was just trying to rationalize on making the videos, like, oh, I'm gonna rest. I almost felt myself going back into old patterns. And as I was driving home, I was like, no, I'm going to watch the NBA All-Star event without guilt. And I'm going to work and get my work done. And this is going into the overarching principle on how to defeat procrastination. And I like to call this the 100% work or 100% play. So when it comes to the work, you have to be super clear on what needs to get done for that day. You need to know the specific actions you need to take that day that needs to get done. So that's the work. And when you're working, you want to be 100% focused on work and not think about anything else, so you can get that work done, so then you can go play. So you don't want to be thinking about play while you're working. And I think a lot of us do that, right? We're at work and we're like, man, I can't wait to go watch Netflix. But on the flip side, you also want to be able to enjoy Netflix without thinking of work. And this is the problem, going back to the present to the moment thing. When you're watching Netflix and you know there's work that needs to get done, it's hard to really enjoy that episode of that show, right? Because you keep thinking of the work that needs to get done and you start rationalizing and feeling tension and guilt. And before you know it, you probably missed 10 minutes of the show. I do this all the time. I'm watching something, but I'm in my head thinking about other things, like, oh crap, I gotta rewind, right? So when you're in 100% play or rest, you have to be completely in that, knowing you're gonna get that work done. So that means you have to keep your word to yourself. And this is a practice. This is gonna take time and perhaps in the beginning a lot of effort. It's quoted that it takes 60 to 90 days to build a habit. So you're really gonna have to do this for a while before you're able to be 100% play and 100% work. But if you look at the benefits of it, it basically eradicates all the negatives of unhealthy procrastination, right? When you get the work done that needs to be done, you're going to get better results. And when you get better results, you're going to have more success. And success is proof that you're competent, that you have value to yourself and others. That's going to increase your self-esteem. But when you get in the habit of getting your work done in one area of your life, let's say it's school, let's say it's health, let's say it's relationships, now you can take that habit into other areas. So now you can get results in all other areas of your life and build this like ecosystem of happiness. But again, what I think my strategy really helps with is the present to the moment. I think so much of life passes us by because we're stuck in our heads. So if we're able to neutralize that by trusting ourselves, by keeping our word to ourselves and not worrying about work when we are talking with a customer, or worrying about work when we are hanging out with friends, or worrying about work when we're watching shows, or worrying about work when we're driving to and from places. We're just going to be happier. We're going to be more present. We're going to be able to live more free and take in more experiences. And I was experiencing this today. I've been reading a book called 10 Times by Grant Cardone, and what he talks about is you have a goal in mind. Let's say it's 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Instead of it being 100,000, 10 times that and make it 1 million. So I'm kind of taking that principle. I am basically trying to implement that. So for me, initially I was like, oh, 100,000, I'm gonna get 100,000, right? But I was like, man, 1 million. If I 10 times that 1 million, what actions do I need to take? And what I realized, it's a lot more action that you need to take to get to 1 million. So I kind of laid that out, and it's gonna be a video a day, a YouTube video a day, however best I can do that. And it's gonna be 3 TikToks, because I think TikTok, this is a discussion for another video, or maybe not even in the niche I'm trying to get into, but I think TikTok has so much potential. It's even trying to overtake YouTube. If you don't know much about what's going on in the content creation game, I would highly recommend getting on TikTok, because they're about to expand if you're into content creation, or if you're into just perhaps having some sort of following or understanding what moves people. I would create content. Again, this is subject for another video. I'm getting off topic. But yeah, I made a promise, 3 TikToks along with the YouTube video. And what this is doing, I'm so in the flow of work, it's bringing presence into me. I'm forcing presence by being so engaged in my work. And then now when I get those things done, I can go and watch a show and completely relax and surrender to that moment. So right after I'm done with this video, I'm gonna watch this documentary thing on Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, the sex tape. It just came out today. I was so tempted to just watch it right after the All-Star thing. So it comes on right after the All-Star event thing that I was talking about. And I was about to be like, you know what, screw the videos for today. I'm going to watch this documentary. It looks really good. I'll do even more work tomorrow. 10 times the 10 times for tomorrow. But I was like, no, after the All-Star thing was done, I pressed record on the Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee documentary, and I was like, I got to get my work done. And what's crazy, if you really have 100% focus on the work, you're able to be more efficient and get the work done sooner, so then you have more time for play. So again, I hope this video helped. Just understand the negative consequences of procrastination and get really, really clear on the work that needs to get done, and no matter what, get that work done. However you need to get it done. Perhaps you split up the work. Perhaps you do chunks of work. Man, now that I'm thinking about it, I could have done one TikTok while I was driving or on my work break, so I had less to do now, so I could have been relaxing more. So instead of procrastinating during the little moments of your day, during lunch breaks or during breaks at school or when you're just at home chilling, whatever it is, you could have maybe even make TikTok videos while you're at the gym. Again, do whatever it takes to get the work done, so then you can really enjoy life. And I think life is a balance between inner satisfaction with achieving outer results and outer success. And I think when you are focused on achieving your goals, it forces you to be more present, like I was saying. But it also teaches you how to release a lot of the negative habits you have, so then you can actually enjoy play more. So I think really the true path to spirituality, or feeling really good internally and externally, is by setting and achieving goals. And I talked about this in my last video. And by doing that, you can't help, if you pick a path and stick to it no matter what, you can't help but evolve. And who you evolve into is going to be your highest self. And your highest self is able to do things that I don't think you can even fathom. If you look at the greatest performers of all time, where it's Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, they worked incredibly, incredibly hard. Michael Jackson would listen to this, I forget the CD he would listen to, but he would listen to it all day, just learning all the notes that the singer was singing and writing the lyrics. Michael Jordan would work out 2 times a day. Kobe Bryant would work out 3 times a day to upwork Michael Jordan. But these guys, you can tell, reach a level of success. Of course, maybe they weren't the happiest. You can argue success doesn't always bring happiness. But when you come at it with a little bit of spirituality infused in it, I really think you can become the most content person you can possibly be. Again, I hope this video helped, and until next time, peace.